Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the finale of season 5 of Coffee with Bridgett. And let me just tell you, this entire year has been absolutely amazing. I mean, amazing. And I have like the giggles and the excitement, and I have like all the things tonight because our guest tonight is someone who I have grown to love in such a short time. And I promise you, we're going to bring the fun tonight while also giving you some practical tools and tips and strategies that can help you leverage and you level up your social media. So for those of you who are new to joining me, I am Bridgett Battles, Executive President Strategist for the Bridgett Battles Experience, author of Beauty in Her Battle, and your host of Coffee with Bridgett. So I ask you, please share, invite someone to join the conversation. Tonight's going to be good. You don't want to miss it. So to my YouTube family who are watching, hello. I see you over there on YouTube. And to those who are watching us here on Facebook. All right, so I almost said award-winning or Grammy award-winning, but I'm just gonna say social media award-winning. My guest tonight is full of life, full of personality, social media strategist, and all around amazing, great person. Big personalities. So listen, let's bring on the phone. Help me welcome Keshia Butler-Thomas. Keshia!
Hello, Bridgett. I'm so excited to be here tonight.
I'm so happy to have you here with us tonight. Oh, one of my sisters is on. Hey, Mary. Mary, please like, share, and invite somebody to join the conversation. Keshia.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, I am so waiting for this conversation today. How about you?
Yes, all day long. I'm like, I just have to make it to 7 to talk to Bridgett.
Listen, tonight's conversation is going to be good. And so I have my coffee cup, Coffee with Bridgett. I got to get you a mug. You get your cup?
I have my Speak Your Mind cup.
Listen, we're working with it tonight. I love it. So Keshia, Ashley Owens introduced us. And so for those of you who don't know Ashley Owens, Ashley is the amazing networking concierge, and Ashley is amazing at what she does. Yeah. And Ashley, it's just like she has a superpower to connect people who are in alignment, who have like energies, who are mission driven and focused. And so we both were at an event for Ashley. And I remember telling Ashley, I said, whoever she is, I want to meet her. And she was like, oh, really? Because she wants to meet you too. And I was like, what can happen? And so I feel like we've been like bosom buddies since then. So yeah. Keshia, can you tell my audience, in the words of Ashley, can you tell my audience one thing about you that makes you so awesome?
Oh, just one. Well, I think the thing that makes me the most awesome is the fact that I consider myself to be a purposepreneur. There's entrepreneurs, there's solopreneurs, there's side hustlers, but I am a purposepreneur. I get to live every single day in my purpose, and I'm so grateful for that. And I think that truly does make me amazing because I'm truly aligned with what it is that I'm supposed to be here doing, and I'm getting to share my gifts with the world.
I love it. So speaking of gifts, let's talk about exactly what you do and how you do it. So you've created this amazing academy, and you have, really taken your concept and you've expanded it so that it's impacting other entrepreneurs. So can you please share with my CEOs? That's what I call my community CEOs. Can you please share with them exactly what you do and how you do it?
Yes. Well, CEOs, I am the founder of LCK Consulting Services, formerly Purposeful Life Solution Focused Life and Business Coaching. And what we do is we help entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and side hustlers leverage social media as a way to grow brand awareness and ultimately revenue. In Thrive Academy, which is the academy that I own, we call it Making Dollars Make Sense on Social. That is what we do.
Right there. Somebody put that in
the
Making Dollars Make Sense on Social.
Yes,
I'm going to borrow that. I'm going to give you your credit, but I'm going to have to borrow that.
That is what we do essentially. And so I take my clients on a year-long journey of where we really get behind the messaging that they are looking to put out on social media. ultimately social media is a conversation. And so I teach my clients how to get into the ring and start the conversation with their ideal client so that ultimately we can take our followers from just following us into being connected with us and ultimately into working with us. We also do this on an executive level as I work with clients one-to-one. But my baby, the thing that I love the most is Thrive Academy, because in Thrive Academy, currently I'm serving over 200 entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and side hustlers in 8 countries worldwide. It's absolutely amazing to be able to do that. And Thrive Academy provides that extra layer of support because we offer that community of other ambitious entrepreneurs, right? So what's better than being surrounded by those who are like-minded and understand where you are?
Tish Bell. So Tish is one of my girlfriends, one of my best friends from back home in North Carolina. Tish says yes. Tish, don't you see a lot of yourself in Keshia? So Tish has an amazing personality just like you. So I definitely have to introduce you to Tish. And Carly says yes. So Carly must be in Thrive Academy because she
Carly
said
is my sorority sister.
Got it. Okay. Carly, thank you for joining us. And so, let's dial it back a little bit. So, because I think one of the things with entrepreneurs that the messaging sometimes gets messy. And it gets messy because entrepreneurs are creative. So they have so many things running through their mind at one time. And so it's hard for them to articulate exactly what they are trying to say and what they want their consumer to do.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the messiness of it all, okay? Because it's very messy. So now, Keshia, what can you tell entrepreneurs that are here today if they found themselves in a mess when it comes to their social media? What is the first thing they should be looking at before they decide to continue down this journey and they're not seeing the traction or seeing the revenue they want to see?
Yeah. So there is a theory that I'm working on right now. And it's called curated authenticity, right? And curated authenticity is the practice of creating an authentic feel. And so because social media is so noisy and so loud, and there's so many gurus and experts and all these people who are telling you the exact blueprint that you need to follow to be productive, people are losing themselves and their core mission and values for their company in the noise. And so I encourage all of my entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and side hustlers to pause and take a look at what the core messaging is that you want to convey. Much like when you are networking IRL or in real life, right? That's a Coach Keish acronym, right? Much like if you are networking there, you're able to articulate what it is that you are looking to do. People can see that in your vibe, they can feel your energy, and they can also hear it in your words. We have to be able to do that same thing on social media. But if we get caught up in the noise, it's not going to be possible. And so we have to pause and step back from curating our authenticity and step into our real power, which is the true authenticity that we actually possess.
So this is good. So I like the fact that you're doing this theory. So let's peel it back. So understanding, who you are is important. Because if you don't understand who you are, there's no way you can communicate it out to anybody. So understanding who you are and standing in your confidence. And so I want to talk about 2 things. So number 1, networking. Network is definitely key. And I am finding through my experience that entrepreneurs now are not networking like they should. And so what's happening is we're returning back to the same wells, trying to consistently market ourselves to the same people, sell our product and service to the same people, have a conversation with the same people. And so when we continue to do that, there's no room for expansion. There's no room for growth. And even with that, that means that you're stuck. There's no movement. There's no life. You're not breathing. So the importance of networking is just beyond. For me, I feel like networking is a CPR to your brand.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Mhm.
I couldn't agree more. And here's the thing. There's digital networking that has to occur when you're branding on social, right? It is important to be having conversations with your colleagues, right? And I think a lot of times when we're in this social media space, we turn on the competitive spirit, right? That's my competition, right? But the reality is those are your colleagues. Those are other industry professionals whom you want to have conversations with, because I'm a firm believer that if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. So I want to surround myself by other people who look to be doing the things that I'm looking to do, right? And so when you are scrolling through your colleagues' pages, because we all do it, okay? When you are scrolling through there, if you see something and you're like, that's amazing, take a moment to let them know that. Just as you would want someone to acknowledge you, right? Get the conversation going. Hit the ball across the net, right? A DM is really simple to slide in, okay? They made a whole song about it, all right? So you need to do that too as a business and a brand so that people can get to know you. The key to social is, aside from content creation, it's being shareable, right? The only way you're going to get in front of a new audience is if someone shares you, right? So that might be sharing your content, but that also might be sharing who you are. So that collaboration, that conversation that you have with that colleague might be the next share to get you to the next client.
So you said something key. And so being shareable means that you have to be approachable. It means that you have to be able to be confident in who you are and not intimidated. So being shareable requires you to do your own internal work. And I feel like that's essential as an entrepreneur. If you don't do your work on yourself, you'll get lost in all of this.
Oh, yeah.
And if you get lost in it, then that is what in turn turns into messy social media. And so I'm such an advocate of this. Okay. Now, I'm not a social media expert. I rely on people like you and other people. I'm not a social media expert. But you get me in a boardroom or you get me in a conversation, listen, I know how to network and I know how to deliver the content. And so going back to when you have that messy social media, I'm such an advocate that you don't put so much of your personal business on social media that it overshadows your brand and who you are and the people that you're called to serve. Let's talk about the things that are appropriate to share and the things that are not appropriate to share.
Yeah. So this is a conversation that I have all the time, right? And so we have to look at it in this way, right? There is a very fine line to toe between privacy and secrecy, right? And on social media, we have to toe that line.
Privacy and secrecy. I like.
Yes. So those of us who are like you and I, who we are the brand, right? We're required to share a little bit more because people connect with us, the person, and then us, the brand, right? So, for example, it's okay if you're at a fun business event and you want to share some photos with, with your friends or whatnot, or maybe you have a great outfit on that you're wearing out to an event. Maybe you and your significant other are headed to a really nice dinner and you're sharing that, right? That's completely fine. But what I better not ever see any of my clients doing, any of your CEOs, any of my entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, or side hustlers is sharing the nitty-gritty details of what's going on in our personal life, right? It's inappropriate to do that because then it takes away from our authority and our power in our industries. And so we want to toe that line between privacy and secrecy. And I'll tell you a really funny story about that, Bridgett. So I am married to an extreme introvert. My husband is an extreme introvert. The only things that you're going to see on his social media are me, right? And that's it. Like, he just doesn't do it. So with that being said, it's really important that I honor his space. And so we had to have those conversations, whereas, okay, what are you comfortable with sharing? So that my followers know that me being a wife is a part of my branding, right? But that you're not uncomfortable. And I mean, we had conversations like, okay, you can say that we're going to a nice dinner, but you can't say the place, right? Like all these little intricate details, super, super important. And then, of course, I just want to take a moment to encourage people that if you are sharing these things, where you are and things like that, please don't do it in the moment. Please do it the next day.
Right. Please don't do it in the moment.
Please
Somebody
don't
put
do it
that
in
in the comments. Please don't do it in the moment.
Please, because I don't want, anyone to be in a situation where someone is, finding you or interrupting you when you're trying to have a moment or, an event. So please do it after.
Right. So going back to something that you just said. Yeah, number one, please don't do it in a moment. That's absolutely correct. You want to stay safe at all times. And the second thing is this, you also want to be so cautious and careful that when you do share things, that it's not things that could damage your brand or your reputation. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes I've seen people share so much of their relationship who are not married. And so then, we're invested. You share, you and Boo, y'all hugged up, and let me preface this right. I'm not talking about people that are engaged to be married. No, I'm talking about those who are in a frequent dating pool where you're dating consistently and where you're dating, various people. That's what I mean. So then, you get us so invested. And then when you mad at him or her, then you mad because we asking where the picture's at. You mad because we asking questions. So I said all that to say, when you share things, people become invested in what you share. Mm-hmm. And they invest in you in a relationship before they invest in your product or your service. Mm-hmm. And so once they make that investment, they are looking for a return. And sometimes you have to be okay with understanding that the return may not be something that you wanted to give.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is something that we see frequent, especially in the influencer space, right? Mm-hmm. When we're dealing with influencers, may they be nano influencers or mega influencers, right? We see this because we get invested in the person. And as a brand, right, we want people to be invested in us. We want them to have the know, like, and trust in us digitally, just as they would IRL, right? It's super important to have, but understanding that they do want a return on the investment, to your point. And so we want to make sure that the things that we are sharing are things that we can be consistent with. And that's really social media as a whole, right? Consistency is the key to social. And I say consistency because I don't want anyone to think that you need to be on social all day, every day, right? That's not true. You need to do what works for you and what your data says, okay? But you need to be consistent. So anything that we're sharing, anything that we're allowing people in on, we want to make sure that that's going to stay with us in our brand all throughout.
Absolutely. Hi, Kathleen Kilmore. Thanks for joining us. Erica Figueroa said, please don't do it in a moment. Yes, Erica, thank you for being here tonight. So y'all, please invite somebody to join the conversation, share. And by all means, if you have questions for Keshia, because we're definitely going to answer questions, put your questions in the comment section. So, we talk about sharing and talk about oversharing. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about things that we should be sharing. Because I find sometimes that we share the things that we like. And the things that we like sometimes are not necessarily things that are always of value. Typically, the things that we like are the things that are fluff.
Yep.
They're the surface things. But the things of value, sometimes we don't want to share. And so I use for an example that oftentimes, and I have been guilty of it in the past, and I'm learning to navigate this new space, that, people would see the finished product, but now I'm, start gradually moving into the get ready with me. So that you see me transitioning to the person that you see in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. So understanding, taking people along through the process, they understand that I'm relatable.
Yeah.
And people want to know that you are relatable, because that makes all the difference in the world when they're spending their money. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about things that we should be sharing, things that are of value. So for me, I know it's to start doing get ready with me's. And it's also for me to really start sharing more of the value added things. And one of the things that I'm definitely guilty of is that, and you saw from yesterday, I do 500 things in one day, okay? And I've captured a gabillion photos, but I have to remember to make sure I get them out to get posted so that people get a chance to actually see me doing the things that I tell you that I am doing. And so I have the documented evidence that I'm doing what I say that I am doing. So getting those things out. So share some things with us, some things that we should be posting that add value.
Absolutely. So content should always be educational and engaging from a business standpoint. And so what I mean by that is we want your content to be clickable and shareable. So that means it has to be aesthetically pleasing. We want to make sure that it's
break it down for people what aesthetically pleasing is.
So that means that we want to make sure if we take a photo, we clean up the background, right? That means that for someone like you who's in the beauty industry, right? We want to make sure that things are beautiful, right? We don't want them to not represent the brand, right? So we want that. And ultimately, we want to provide them with education, because the education component is what establishes you as an expert in your industry.
Say it again for the people on the back row.
And that education piece, I think, is what sometimes we shy away from because we get nervous to share our true expertise, right? So I encourage all of my clients and anyone who's utilizing social media as a brand or as a business to make sure that you are educating more than anything, right? Because that's the only way that someone's going to recognize your brand as the go-to when they need your product or your service. So for example, for someone like yourself, Bridgett, in the beauty industry, I want you to show me how to properly pair my accessories for the winter, because quite frankly, my winter accessories are different than my summer accessories because I have to be concerned about my head. I'm bald. I need a hat, right? My scarves are different, right? My tones are different because my skin tone changes. I want you to tell me those things and educate me about those things, because then I'm like, Bridgett gets it. She understands what I'm going through as I transition through the seasons. Versus if you're just giving me a beautiful photo of you every day, I'm like, that's great. Bridgett's beautiful, but how is she going to help me? It's always about how do you help the client? How does your experience, your expertise, what your knowledge base is, your zone of genius, how does it help your client? So for as long as we are always educational and engaging in our content, we're ultimately giving our client a fully robust experience.
And so whenever you give your client a fully robust experience, then you can put an adequate price tag on it. So we cannot put an adequate price tag on things that we do not give them something that has a value add. And so understanding that concept is important. And here's the other thing too, to go along with what Keshia said, because I love everything that you just said. The other thing about that is that you have to be open to listen and to hear, because a lot of times we want to give people what we think they want. So we need to learn and listen to what the client is saying is their pain point. We need to see, how do we stop them from hemorrhaging? How can we show them how to move from this place to the next place? So everything that you just said makes perfectly good sense. So those are things that we want to challenge you to do. So I'm going to challenge myself to start doing more Get Ready with Me. Let's challenge myself.
Okay.
Start doing them. Y'all hear me? I'm challenging myself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start doing more. I do film them, but I don't always show them in real time. So I'm going to start doing them even more live, my Get Ready with Me.
I'm going to turn on my notifications for your pages so that I can make sure you're doing them.
Thank you, Coach Keshia. This is why we became friends. All right. This is how we became friends. Yes. So now, Keshia, let's talk a little bit more. We talked about things that we should be posting, things that definitely add value. And we talked about things making them aesthetically pleasing. Let's also talk about how that our social media journey can be one that can actually show people how they can document their season of progression. And I think that's important for entrepreneurs, because you need to see that you are progressing. Because if you don't see that you are progressing, I think that becomes frustrating.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. So I'm going to go against the grain here a little bit,
Okay.
and I'm going to give some brutal honesty.
Okay.
Okay. Followers
Mhm.
are not indicative of dollars.
This is
Okay?
true.
And
Okay.
so a lot of the times, because in social, we weigh so heavily on followers, friends, connections, that we lose the fact that having 10,000 followers and no one engaging is worse than having 100 followers and 100 people engaging.
Mhm.
The only way to truly measure success on social is through engagement. And what I mean by engagement is, are people commenting and talking to you? Are they in the conversation with you? Are people inquiring about your services? Do they want to learn more? Is that link in your bio actually getting clicked? Right? Are people sharing your content? Are you finding that your information's in somebody else's story, whether they tag you or not? Are they sharing your content? And last and most importantly, are people saving your content? Saving your content is the biggest compliment you can get, because it means that somebody found so much value in what you are presenting that they need to save it for later. It's almost like when you get that real good piece of Junior's cheesecake and you leave like 2 bites because you're like, I'm gonna want to come back to this. So I'm gonna just go ahead and just wrap it up, even though you really don't want to wrap it up, but you wrap it up. That's what it means when someone saves your content. And that is how we truly measure success. And the great part about all of this is the major social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, they provide you with these insights for free.
Mhm.
So all we have to do is click the button to know what the content is actually doing. And so that, my friend, is truly the only way to measure success on social. And I want to let everybody know who is listening right now, you are not failing if you do not have X number of followers.
Facts.
You are not, you are failing if you are not serving the ones that you do have. If you are waiting to get to 10,000 followers to start serving at your highest potential, you're failing. If you are serving that 200 at your absolute highest potential, you are winning, my friend. You are winning beyond belief, and your brand is going to be sustainable far past however many followers you get.
And here's the other thing, too, to add with what Keshia just said. Also understanding which platform is best for you, because every single platform may not be right for every single person. And so once you understand which platform works best for your business, your brand, and your industry, everything that Keshia said is so critical. It is important. And that is how you grow. And so also understand which content goes on which platform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because there are certain things that I will post on LinkedIn that I'm not posting on Facebook or Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
understanding, because of who my ideal client is and my market is, understanding that LinkedIn is where I reside best at.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook and Instagram work well for pictures and for get ready with me, yes. But on my LinkedIn, my audience there desires more articles. They want to see me at the places that I tell you I'm going to be at. And they want to see a microphone in my hand as a host. They
Mm-hmm.
want to see me engaging with C-suite executives. They want to see that. So understanding who your audience is and which content is appropriate for which platform. And so,
Absolutely.
I think sometimes we make the mistake of putting things on LinkedIn that should not go on LinkedIn, and putting things on Facebook that Facebook's audience is different and they really can't comprehend what you're posting in that atmosphere.
Oh, absolutely.
Understanding that. Go ahead, Keshia.
Absolutely. And so there's all kinds of data points, and there's a lot of science behind each platform, and I won't bore you all with that, even though that stuff gets me really excited. But the whole notion is, number one, you don't have to be everywhere.
Correct.
If you are unable to serve in the capacity of LinkedIn, don't serve there. If you're unable to serve on TikTok, don't serve there. I'll tell you right now, I could teach you TikTok with no problem. I don't tick and I don't talk. That's just not what I do. But I know the platform, right? If you're not an orator, you shouldn't be on Clubhouse, right? If you're not a conversationalist, you shouldn't be on LinkedIn. And if you don't like people's opinions, you shouldn't be on Facebook, right? So there's all these sciences behind where you should be. But more so than anything, you want to be where you can show up your most confident. Because if you're looking to establish yourself as that go-to expert, that guru in your industry, you need to exude confidence. And if you're not confident on a medium, don't use it, because it's going to diminish your branding. And to your point, Bridgett, it's very important to know how to diversify content. You can utilize one piece of content in 6 different places, but you have to know how to do that. To your point, I serve executive level clients. I serve them on LinkedIn. Thrive Academy, my baby, the people who I really love, they're on Instagram. And I know that. My Thrive Academy members are not on LinkedIn. They're just not there. The people who are on LinkedIn, they want me to serve them in a one-to-one capacity. They want me to build out robust plans for them. But my people on Instagram, they want clicks. They need clicks. And Thrive Academy helps them do that while also offering them a higher level experience, right? And I know that, but it comes from knowing your market. And so I encourage everyone who's listening to take a look at the people who you serve and figure out how to diversify your content in that way, right? Because you don't want to overserve those who aren't ready, and you don't want to underserve those who need more.
Erica White, my co-founder for the Diversity Consortium, is here. Hi, Erica. Thanks for joining us. Kathleen Kilmore has shared, and Kathleen Kilmore has her tribe here with us tonight. Thank you so much for inviting. Please invite other people to join the question, join the conversation. Submit your questions. We want to hear you. If this is good tonight, because it's good to me. If this is good, somebody put it in the comments. This is good. So I want to go back to something else we just talked about. And in the next 2 minutes, we'll start answering your questions. So putting your questions in the comments. You know, diversifying your platform is key, and it is essential. And it's also important that you don't post things that you don't do. So when we talk about being a subject matter expert, you can have a passion to do something. You can have an idea to do something. But that does not mean that you are in alignment to be a subject matter expert for that particular area. And so you find people who want to wordsmith. And so they want to put all the frills and the fluff on the bio, because the bio has become your digital business card. So then what happens is people become attracted to the buzzwords. Once they're attracted to the buzzwords, and we pull back the layers and find there is no substance, which means that we are advertising as an expert when we're not an expert, when we're still an amateur.
Ooh, that's it. That's it.
Yes, understanding that. Listen, that in order to get to that, don't advertise if you're not there. Stay where you are and maximize where you are. The moment you maximize where you are, that is the moment you allow yourself to expand. And that is the moment where you can start to see growth. See, there's growth in truth.
Yep.
See, if you don't accept truth, there's no growth. There is growth in truth, and be okay with knowing that there is room to grow.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm saying to anybody tonight, especially the entrepreneurs, because I have such a heart and a passion for what we do, because I understand my process. I understand what I've had to do to get where I am. And I understand what I have to do on a consistent basis to maintain. And so I say these things to you so that you can not only learn from my process, but also understanding I can relate to where you are. So I look like you're bubbling over, Keshia. Go take it away.
Mm-hmm. So, it's interesting in the digital space because one of my arch nemesis is lifestyle marketing. So a lot of the times when you engage with social media managers, which I am not a social media manager, I'm a brand strategist, right? When you engage with social media managers, they revert to lifestyle marketing. It's one of the most popular ways to market right now on social media. And so what it looks like is a woman will spend her last on a pair of Christian Louboutins and a never full Louis Vuitton bag so that she looks successful. A man will get a custom suit and rent a BMW to stand in front of so that he looks like he's got the answers, right? That's all lifestyle marketing. It's all curated. There's a whole blueprint for it. And so what we're finding today is that brands are ending up in that lifestyle marketing space, even though they don't want to be there, because they're hiring social media managers who are only focused on growing a following, growing followers, not growing customers and clients, right? And so when they're reverting to these things, they're making it look like they're even more of an expert because the showmanship says that you're very good at what you do, right? Because see, when you see a Christian Louboutin, you think money. Money means you must be successful. So that means that the things that you are saying you must do in order to get these things, right? And so on social, anybody can curate these spaces, right? And so we have to be very intentional about being super real and honest about who we actually are and not getting lost in what people think we need to be, right? Staying focused on where we are right now in the process and accepting that, right? Us accepting that so that other people understand that this is truly who we are. And that's when you're relatable, right? That's when you're relatable. And so personally, I've made it a point of having conversations with my followers, because I'm always talking to them. I'll hop on a live at any time, having conversations with them when I'm having what I call Monday ass Mondays, right? Those are just bad Mondays, right? And sometimes I have those on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever, right? But I tell them that because I think as entrepreneurs, especially those of us who have been in it for a while, we do a really poor job at being honest. It's always the finished product, but never the process. And so things like lifestyle marketing, as you can see, get me really angry because I know that this is a tactic that's happening in the industry, especially on social media. And I really want to make sure that you all are aware that that's what's happening so that you don't fall victim and so that you also don't end up contracting someone who puts you in that space, even though you don't want to be there.
That was good, preacher. Listen, that was Kathleen, I have a team of people that help me with my entire life at this point. Okay. I have a whole team of people. And so that is why I get so passionate about this work, because I understand that it takes work to get here. I think many people are so infatuated with the visuals of what Keshia said that they don't put any thought process into the actual work. So I said all of that to say is that I had to learn that I couldn't be all things to all people, and I couldn't be every single thing in my business or my brand. And so with that being said, yes, I have a full team. I have a brand manager. I have an assistant. I have two people that come clean my house. I have someone that comes here to clean my car. And I say all those things to say that it's important for me to have that, because right now my time is more important to me than money. I figured out a way to make more money. I don't have another way to make more time. So that's my time is my currency. So if it means that I can have these hours back in my day, it means that I need to add another person to the team to help me maximize the things that I do. So to answer your question, yes.
Absolutely. That is so, so true. I mean, and I share with my followers all the time. I've been a side hustler. I've been a solopreneur. And now I serve as an entrepreneur with an amazing team of 6 people who keep my life in order. They keep my life in order. We were at the Urban League yesterday, and someone said, "Do you have some time this week to chat?" And I was like, let me ask Victoria if I have some time this week to chat, because she maintains that calendar for me in order for me to serve my clients. Because see, that's what's most important to me. I want to serve constantly. And in order for me to serve all the people that I serve, I have to be able to be present in the business. I have to be in the business. I allow other people to work on it so I can be in it, because this is my baby. I spent years building my brand. The Keshia Butler-Thomas, the life coach Keish, the LCK consultant, whatever you want, that is me through and through. Blood, sweat, and a whole lot of tears, okay, in order to make it happen, which is why I think, we, people like you, Bridgett, people like myself, we owe it. We have a duty to let other entrepreneurs into what really happens. We have to pull back the curtains, because if we want to continue to grow the next group of entrepreneurs, the next group of excellent Black women, the next group of excellent women in general who are going to lead the charge, we have a duty to share with them what all goes into this.
Yes. Hey, Askia, thank you for joining us. Yes. And so here's the other thing too. So I want to use this for an example. So you talked about in the lifestyle marketing, or how, people save their money to buy certain, high-end articles of clothing, shoes, all those types of things, because in their visual, sight, what they've seen, even to there are certain groups, and I watch the Black Bougie girls on TikTok. Like, I watch that group to see what they're doing. I do. And so in the lifestyle marketing space, those types of groups have been connected and they have been established. And so when we hear about the lifestyle marketing, they've been established because these groups of people, some of them have come up with a formula and it's real true success. And then there are some of them who have not come up with a formula. They're just along for the ride. And so that is why it's so important to share your process. And so I share this, I've shared it a couple of times, and I'm not sure if I shared it with you, but this is just, like a snippet of it, the snippet of it. One of the big things for me was building my own house. And so I shared that process of me building my house. It was my 45th birthday gift to myself. And so understanding that I knew that it was blood, sweat, and tears. I knew that it was faith. And I also knew that it was God's plan. And I had to follow the leading of God for doing that. And so once I knew that I was building my house, one of my non-negotiables was creating this room for my shoes. And so creating this room for my shoes became important for me because it became a symbol for me. For me, it became the symbol that I was able to do this. The person who started out with nothing has been able to follow a strategic plan and create something. And so understanding that, and for those of you who don't know my story, and I say this from a point of growth, not a point of being rude or talking about my ex or anything like that. No, but me building my house and everything was all done right after my divorce. So this was the fact for me to say, yes, as an entrepreneur, yes, as a full-time worker, yes, I can do this. And so work became my safe place. Serving became my safe place. Being able to help women grow and move out into their passion, into entrepreneurship, show up with confidence, show up with executive presence became my safe space. And understanding that it all came out of my own life. And I say that to those that are watching, that, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, or anything along that line, at some point, your why has to always be at the forefront. Because if you're not committed to your why, you're not committed to the end result. You will only get your end result if you are committed to your why. And so even in the midst of social media, even in the midst of you creating the brand, even in the midst of you educating and engaging, always make sure that you stick to your why.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we need to pass around the virtual collection plate at this point. because it's real preaching going on tonight, right? But seriously though, right, it is absolutely 150% the why. And I'll share this openly. My father suddenly passed away at 52 years old on September 11th, 2015. I'm an only child of two only children. My father had no pre-existing conditions, and he just was gone. And he was a serial entrepreneur. And so I watched what that looked like. And when my father passed away, I was blessed to be a product of generational wealth and planning, right? My father had a plan. He executed the plan. And so although devastated emotionally from a financial standpoint, from a support standpoint, my father was still able to take care of me. And so once he passed away, my why shifted. And I think it's important for us to remember too, our why will shift. And when he passed away, my why became, if you were to leave this life today or tomorrow, what are they going to say when they eulogize you? And I'm going to be real honest with you guys. And I'm sure that you all, if you being honest, you can agree. We've all gone to a funeral or three where they've talked about the person and we're like, I mean, I ain't know that side, right? And I don't want that to be me. I want, when people speak about the impact and my legacy, that it is the unadulterated truth. I want people to be able to say that I did impact them, that I did help them, that I did serve them, that I was kind to them, all of these things. And so I have built a brand centered around creating a culture that is focused on leaving a legacy. And so what we do in the social space is leave legacy, because once it's digitized, it never goes away. And so I help my clients focus in on the legacy piece to this. This is bigger than I just ate at Fogo de Chao, right? This is about, what are my products and services going to do to serve in the long term, not just my clients, but my family too? Am I building a business, a brand that ultimately I can sell when I'm ready to retire, right? That's going to continue to support me. Am I building a business or a brand that's going to help my clients do that, right? Am I in a position where I'm truly being the change and not the chatter, right? And so I think we also want to just honor, if your why does change, that's okay too, or as long as it remains at the center of your focus.
This was so good, Kesh. This was so good. So good. We're down to our last 5 minutes. So if you all have any questions for us, please put your questions in the comments. We're happy to answer your questions. And, listen, Tiffany White. Tiffany is in my mastermind class. And Tiffany White, so Keshia, I give them a quiz every now and again. So Tiffany was my pop quiz winner.
Oh.
A pop quiz winner. So Tiffany, please put in the comment section your business so that people can check out your business. Tiffany is a boutique owner. Her boutique is called Simply Fantastic, and she has amazing pieces. So Tiffany, please put your website in the comment section. And so Keshia, 2 things I need to say, girl.
Let me brace myself.
I bought myself 3 pair of red bottoms. Child, them things hurt, okay?
You ain't said nothing but a word. I told you they the worst shoes I own.
Things hurt. Child, I only wear for pictures, okay?
I told you they are the worst things I own.
Them things hurt,
My feet get balled up in them. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
So, y'all, we're not advocating. We like red bottoms. We're not advocating you go out there, okay?
No. I'm telling you to stay away.
We're not advocating for that. I would tell you, Jessica Simpson does well by my life, okay? She does well by my life.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I will wear Mark Fisher until I take my last breath. Okay.
Yes. And the second thing too is that I have a great dating life, y'all. So I just want y'all to know that my story isn't ended, okay? No bad blood over here. We all good. All right. We all good. I just shared that because I want you to understand our level of commitment to what we do.
Absolutely.
Keshia, please tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me everywhere in the world at Life Coach Kesh. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok. I don't tick or talk, but I'm on there. Clubhouse. You can always visit me at www.lifecoachkesh.com. And feel free to connect with me. Slide in my DMs. I answer all of my DMs. My team actually gets really mad at me because I'm on my social way more than I'm supposed to be. But I answer all my DMs. And so I would love to hear from you guys. And I'm also always happy to help with absolutely anything you need. When I say obligation free, I really mean it. I know sometimes people be like, oh, call me. Then at the end of the call, they're like, I'll send you an invoice, right? That's not how I get down. I really, really, really want to help you. So if you have questions about social, please feel free to reach out to me. I love what I do. I do it in a lot of spaces. And so I'm happy to talk to you about it.
And also January the 13th, Keshia, tell everybody what's happening January 13th.
On January the 13th, Bridgett Battle is coming over to Morning Coffee. I am the co-host of Morning Coffee on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings on RBN TV Network. You can find us on your Roku devices, and we are on demand. Bridgett's coming over, and we are going to have a fashion show. I am excited. So all the CEOs, entrepreneurs, side hustlers, solopreneurs, make sure you're there because it's going to be cute, y'all.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. This was my last episode for this year. We'll be back in February. But however, I didn't leave you hanging. During the entire month of January, we have all new episodes of Ask Bridgett. So January will feature all new episodes of Ask Bridgett, since we won't be here live, but I'll still be around. We are booked and busy. So I'm going to follow Coach Keshia's advice and start bringing y'all on the journey a little bit more, sharing with you all the amazing things we're doing. We have some great announcements that are coming up. We have a lot of great things happening. You know, me and Keshia both have gotten some great new opportunities we'll be sharing later. There's a lot of things happening. So by all means, please stay connected with me. Follow me on everything at Bridgett Battles. And of course, you can watch every episode. The first five seasons of Coffee with Bridgett are available on my YouTube channel. And ladies and gentlemen, each time that we leave Coffee with Bridgett, we toast. All right. So thank you all so much. We will see you back again in February. Stay safe and happy holidays. Cheers.